there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So in today's video we are going to be talking about, well, Gladiator Circuit Meta Season 24, and it's kind of actually a bit ironic because I do think that Gladiator Circuit Meta is easier and overall more fun than the Victory Track one. I do think that Victory Track Meta is going to be hated by a ton of more casual Battlegrounds players because the counterpunch node is just so punishing, and I have heard a lot of feedback, so to speak, on that already. But let's talk about Gladiator Circuit. We do have Victory Track MVP video already posted yesterday. So it starts with Arena of Fear. So both champions start the fight with an indefinite fear passive, which basically disables unblockable. That actually has some good, some bad, and some interesting consequences, which I'm going to discuss a bit later on. But that is effectively because of I am root node as well, because the defender is passively rooted, the attacker is passively rooted during the defender's special attacks. So whenever the defender throws a special, which they will have to because it also has Matador and Power Shield nodes, you're going to get rooted. So it means block damage, it means champions with unavoidable, basically, specials, and will be quite significant. Now Matador is effectively disabling all of the power gain via conventional means, and you gain power whenever the defender uses a special attack. Simple as that. Doesn't matter which special attack they use, you gain 1 bar power. So here comes a few interesting things as well. Number one, this makes Mystic Dispersion bad for like vast majority of the scenarios, because offensively Mystic Dispersion is not going to do anything. You do not gain power from Mystic Dispersion. Defensively, you do not necessarily, well, you as an attacker would like Mystic Defenders to have Mystic Dispersion so they can throw special attacks more frequently, so you can use special attacks more frequently. So it doesn't really help your defenders in most cases either. So Mystic Dispersion is definitely one of the masteries that can go. And Power Shield, so the attacker's basic attacks deal no damage but still generate power, except they don't because of Matador node, and their special attacks deal 400% more damage. Keep in mind that bursts of damage and damage over time effects still work in vast majority of the cases unless they are tied to the damage that you deal with the hit. For instance, Hercules. Hercules can deal up to 120% of damage that he deals as hit damage as a physical burst damage. Hercules deals 0 damage on his basic hits, none of his bursts will do any damage. And then obviously we do have Dauntless. So, before I show you guys my current deck for Gladiator Circuit, and I will be making some changes, we need to talk about the potential MVPs. So first and foremost, there are 3 champions that stand head and shoulder above. 3 champions that are insane nukes. Basically auto win rounds whenever you get to use these champions. Number 1 is Kate Bishop. You know, 1 level 1 and opponent is just about dead, because your Cold Snap damage also gets 400% potency boost, and it's insane amount of damage. So Kate Bishop is crazy. Similar to Mr. Sinister. Mr. Sinister can kill opponents with a single level 1 quite often, because his degen damage from his level 1 is also enhanced and stays enhanced, and you can pause it. So Mr. Sinister is absolutely filthy, so he's obviously a good two-way champion here because you know, he's a good defender and a crazy attacker in this meta. And Tiger is back, baby. Tiger is quite crazy. Bait out 2 level 1s from the opponent, get some raptures going. A level 2 will nuke just about everything. If not, then, you know, a level 1 follow-up will, but level 2 will be done and dusted for. So yeah, these 3 champions are insane and are pretty much a must-have in the deck or must-ban. Moving on, from the defensive side, Thing is quite a good shout here, because obviously the protection is going to be very annoying, because you're going to be dealing virtually no damage to the Thing for most of the time when you're hitting him with the basic attacks, but then when you do need to do a ton of damage on your specials, he's just going to trigger his protection. So he is quite frustrating champion to deal with in the Gladiator Circuit. Offensively, Red Guardian, it's quite similar to Tigra. Level 2 in vast majority of the cases will kill just about anything. So bait out 2 level 1s, drop level 2 with Red Guardian, they are quite dead. Immortal Hulk, somebody that I am using in my deck alongside Hercules and Serpent for their immortality abilities. that's basically it. He just has a fairly large health pool, and he has immortality, so the single special attack damage source will not knock him out, and they will have to wait out the immortality, build up to another bar of power, and he, is quite delayed, because this is ultimately going to be quite a nukey meta. Then we have Attuma. Obviously, unless opponents have a way to bypass the damage, Attuma's damage back is not connected to the amount of damage that he takes, like Electro, for instance. And therefore, Attuma is much tougher defender. And yeah, Electro is not too great in this meta because Electro reflects back damage that you deal to him, percentage of that. But if your basic attacks deal no damage, you're taking no damage back, and then any champion with projectile special attacks will just nuke down Electro. So moving on, Korg, typically fairly solid defender. His rock stacks can hinder with things too, and so Korg's decent. Maulman's actually quite good so far in my testing as well because, enhancing his special attack damage with guaranteed crits, he hits quite hard for 100% attack rating, plus guaranteed crits is very persistent and reliant damage. And also, meanwhile, his bleeds can still put in some work even outside of the special attacks, which is important in quite a few matchups, like Kindred, for instance, which you can talk later on. But if you activate a special attack and let's say Kindred drops below 5%, you get rooted, and you do not have a way to basically get Kindred down to 5% and immediately use special attack afterwards, because you would have to bait the special attack out of Kindred then. But with Maulman, you can, damage him and then have a special attack ready because of all the bleeds and or potentially shock damage that you apply to him. Then we have Massacre, quite similar case. Ignite your bat, throw a special 2 in the block, just about everything will die. Bishop, similar case, and can potentially be a decently good defender. Also, he's one of those champions where you do not want to bait out to level 1. You want to almost always push Bishop to level 2, unless you are Incinerate immune. And that slows down fights, which is quite important. So champions where you absolutely do not want to let them throw special 1, can immediately be quite decent defenders. Then we have Onslaught. Just, Onslaught with a power shield nukes down everything crazy fast, so he's faster than normal, and he's still fairly tricky defender. Havoc's actually been doing quite well because he reduces the crit damage, and he can, work decently well on defense, and also, his level 2 with the 400% attack boost is quite solid. Then we have Shocker. Now, Shocker deserves a special praise or nomination or discussion here, because Shocker is an absolute evil mother flipper in this meta. Thing is, effectively, we all know that we need to intercept Shocker in order to reduce his vibro charge, right? So at 50 plus charges, while dashing forward, Shocker is passively unblockable. If this dash attack breaks the opponent's block, this effect goes on cooldown. If Shocker is struck while unblockable, remove 50 vibro shock charges. Here is the funniest interaction of the meta so far. Due to the fear node, Shocker doesn't go unblockable. So there is nothing that you can do to reduce his charges. And that means he will always auto-block your specials. Right? That means he'll pretty much have that auto-block at the ready just about all the time. And that means that you either need somebody that can nuke him down hitting in his block, like Massacre, let's say, or you need somebody that would ignore the auto-block. Somebody with true focus or similar undermine ability, for instance. And, that's not too common. So, yeah. And obviously he's like kind of viable on attack. You can't do the whole heavy thing, but, you will still be doing damage by throwing your special attacks. But yeah, it's primarily the defense. Shocker is such a catch defender, it can ruin your day. Then we have Warlock. Obviously, we all know why Warlock should be good. Number 1, if he has his armor ups, opponent can't crit on special attacks, so he'll take significantly less damage from that. And number 2, because of the way power dynamic works here, whenever the opponent gains a bar of power and gets power drained even a tiny bit, they do not have a special attack to throw. So if they do have the infection up and he throws a special attack, they gain a power, but they immediately lose a bit of power. So it is, again, quite tricky opponent where you need a very specific type of counter somebody, you know, like a robot that would not get power drained, for instance, or somebody that's immune to the armor breaks if you're baiting level 2s, or immune to shock if you're baiting level 1s, something of the sort. But yeah, Warlock can be very finicky too. Fam is kind of, well, similar deal, because he also messes with your power. He has a max damage cap that he can take from a single hit, so it's quite finicky on defense and viable still on attack, just like Red Skull. Red Skull is like super chunky whenever he throws his level 1s. Obviously, he slows you down a bit in most cases due to his auto block, and then he turns out, you know, to be incredibly chunky with his armor up buffs and with his crit rating reduction. So still a very, very good defender. Omega Sentinel is actually very good offensively. Level 2, again, will kill just about anything, and, well, if not level 2, then the incinerates that follow afterwards. So Omega Sentinel is actually surprisingly good for this meta. Then we have Penny Parker, again, quite decent champion on both ends of the spectrum, because if you deal no damage to her, you can't really reduce the shield, and her own special attack damage is enhanced, so level 1, level 2 will kill just about everything. So Penny Parker is definitely kind of like an MVP of this Battleground season, because she's bonkers in Victory Track and she's bonkers in Gladiator Circuit. Then we have Arcade. Arcade is quite filthy for a bit different reason. Oh, another reason why Penny is good on defense is that not only it's harder to deal with her shield significantly, so also you do not want to bait out level 1s from Penny, and that means you need to push her to level 2 and this slower. But Arcade is a filthy champion for this meta, because now when he activates his special attacks, you get rooted, and that typically roots you in a place of the poison cloud, and that's just mean. So you take a lot of dot, and yeah, Arcade is kind of evil as well in this meta. This is kind of funny, some of these champion interactions, but yeah, root definitely helps a lot to him as a defender. Then we have Symbiote Supreme, which is a solid two-way champion for this meta, because he works decently well attack offensively, and then he's a defender, like a cheekily good defender, because obviously there are quite a few champions that, you know, naturally don't do too well against him, but also just the fact that he gains his power very slowly at the beginning of the fight means that you will have no power at the beginning of the fight, because you can hit him as much as you want, you're not gonna damage him, and he doesn't gain power like normally, and he's not gonna be throwing his special attack for quite a while. And if he's not throwing your special attack, you do not get power, and you do not get to throw a special attack, and you do not get to inflict damage upon him. So he's a very cheeky defender for this meta. Then we have Man-Thing, again, just general idea that he takes less damage from the critical hits, and, you know, is a fairly solid defender overall. So I do think Man-Thing is kind of like worth looking at. Wiccan should be quite good offensively, because large amount of damage comes from his level 2 from the dots, basically. And that level 2 is going to be significantly supercharged. He should be significantly faster, similar to Kushala. Kushala is very, very good, very, very fast in these metas. Kindred, as I mentioned, is a much more finicky defender than normal, due to the fact that, you know, if you, let's say, get to 2 bars of power with anybody, even like Red Guardian, for instance, and you drop that level 2, and you, let's say, would knock him out, but his awakened ability saves him, he's below 5%, you're rooted, you're getting degened, and there's nothing you can do because you have no more power, and then you just, you know, take a lot of degen. Kindred's very finicky in this meta too. And then we have Ebony Maw. Ebony Maw is kind of funny because he messes with opponent's power gain. So, missing from Thanos, 1 second, heavy attacks, persuasive voice, but he reduces the power gain that opponents get, and that means that whenever he throws a special attack, you do not get a full bar of power. You get less when he is working as a defender. Where is that ability exactly, though? Is it Awaken ability? Auto block. No, where was it? Heals bacon. Focus, and it is double while suffering from none. While Ebony Maw is focusing, the opponent's ability power rates reduced by 60%. Here we go. This also refers to their node. So whenever Ebony Maw throws level 1, you do not get a full battle power. You get 60%. So, sorry, you get 40% of a battle power. So he's going to throw a second level 1, and you're going to get another 40% of battle power. And he's going to throw a third level 1, and only then you'll get a battle power. So that's also quite evil and cheeky. So this meta is going to be a nuke meta, but it's also filled with all sorts of weird traps. So I kind of like it. Definitely will be adding Ebony Maw to my deck, by the way, because this is something that I remembered as I was recording this video. Right, so for now my deck looks like Silk I'm probably going to take out, not that great. Morbius I'm going to take out, not the best either. Not awful, but still. Then we have Red Guardian, Photon, Thing, Immortal Hulk. It's fine there. I'm going to add in Massacre here for the one of the two champions that I'm taking out. Maulman, Kate, you know, Bullseye obviously is must-have. Mating 3, a 2-man Korg. Then we have Domino, Bishop, Havoc, quite like him. Onslaught and Mr. Sinister. There are quite a lot of mutants that will be crazy here though, like, you know, Storms and in general, any of the mutants with massive special attack damage. Then here so far, I think I'll probably end up taking Nova out, but we do have Hercules for his immortality largely, and we also have Serpent. Then tech class, Warlock, Omega Sentinel, Red Skull, Shocker, probably will add Fam to that. And then I'm going to take out, might actually take out Chavez, don't know. Anyways, we do have Sasquatch, still decent with Power Shield as well. And then we have Kushala, Enchantress, Jug's definitely going out, he's not great for this. Tigra, and Symbiote Supreme. Anyhow, let me know how do you like this video, if you did find it useful. If you did, hit that like button, hit that sub button, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye-bye. Hello there guys, and welcome back to the channel. So we have all